What's up everyone, and welcome to another cryptocurrency market update. In these videos you will learn how to use technical analysis to forecast price movements in your favorite cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and others, and you will also see where we are looking to buy and sell these crypto assets ourselves. So today we're going to be looking at Bitcoin as well as AAVE. So let's get into it here with Bitcoin on the monthly time frame. If we're looking at Bitcoin on the monthly time frame, I'm not going to go over super in depth on these high time frames because I did in yesterday's video. If you haven't already, check that out in the link in the description below. I'm sorry, not the link in the description below, the link above. And so check that out where I go a little bit more in depth with this, but pretty much the overall main takeaways here. The cliff notes is we're looking bullish on the monthly time frame with this bearish candlestick here. It doesn't take much technical know-how to look at that and see that we have an increasing bear volume candle for the first time since September, overbought RSI, and obviously the bearish candlestick. If we go to the weekly time frame, the weekly time frame is looking more bullish than the monthly. We have the weekly hidden bullish divergence here on the RSI making a lower low, and then the price making a higher low. Now we could come up, form a lower high here, come down, form a higher low, and then come up for a higher high. That's probably the bull's best case scenario. Right now, it's looking like we might end up coming down and forming a we haven't seen much follow through on this week at least. So for the bulls, they're going to need to see us, if we do come down, form that higher low. If we don't and we go below this blue line, our monthly high will be set here and will likely go down to this about 38K level. Let's go to the 2-day time frame, talk about what we're seeing on the 2-day. So on the 2-day time frame, we have tested this gray resistance level here several times. So we've tested it once, twice, 3 times, and now potentially, the fourth test is going to have to be where we potentially will look to break through it if we do end up breaking through it. And this gray resistance level is from back here where we made this bull trend pattern and then subsequently broke through this zone. So this is where people were selling their Bitcoin, and then once the trend got confirmed, they should have been buying it back here, but clearly they were not. So once the price closed below it, they said, all right, this trend is bearish, so I'm going to go short as soon as we touch this level. And right here was that entry. We talked about this trade on the channel. It ended up being a nice one there, about 7+%. And then subsequently we've tested a few more times because the bulls are trying to push through this zone. If we look at the 1-day time frame, we can see that our main support level, which is this dark blue zone right here, has been tested twice now as well. So both of these zones are weakening. This blue support zone here from when we made the bull trend back here is telling us that if the price goes below this zone and we close 2 candles below it, this is going to be a strong resistance zone to watch. So today's daily candle is looking pretty bearish so far. We'll see how we end up closing the day out. We're currently running into the daily pivot level here, which is hard to see, but it's this orange line right here, right around 56.7. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame and look at the 2 shorter term time frames, support and resistance levels to watch. So right here we have our main resistance level, and that's this yellow zone here. The yellow zone is from right here where we had our bear trend, our high, low, lower high, and then lower low. And subsequently we have our bull trend here with a low, high, higher low, higher high. So both of these zones are the zones to watch. If we break below the purple zone and close 2 candles below it, that's a resistance zone to short on a retest. If we go above the yellow zone and we close 2 candles above that, that is the support zone that we'll look to long on a retest. This purple zone is a fresh support zone that has the potential to support price right now and help us bounce and go above this yellow zone. If we go through this purple zone, that would be a bit concerning on the first test at least. And so we'll see what ends up happening here, how the price develops, but I'm not looking to go long on this purple zone, and I'm it's really tough for me to be bullish until we get above this gray main 2-day zone, because it's just been suppressing price ever since it's been formed. So once we get above that zone, I'll be far more bullish. For right now, this is the main support zone. If I was looking to enter a long position, this is where I would do it. Or wait for us to go above this yellow zone and close above that, and then long a retest of that. So let's jump over to AAVE now. If we go to AAVE, really starting off briefly on the monthly and weekly time frame here. Monthly time frame is looking fantastic in terms of the price action here for bullish continuation. We had a higher low, and then in the same higher low candle, we came up and really had a bullish candlestick here. Typically when you're coming down, you're going to have a black candlestick, but we didn't even form one, and now we've continued to go higher from there. If we go to the weekly time frame had this kind of consolidation or accumulation period, and then subsequently we're starting to see this rise in price again, where we're starting to trend bullishly. This week we've already set a higher low and came up for a higher high after coming up and forming a high here. So now we're going to look to the lower term time frame and see what is really why we're even looking at this chart. The reason we're looking at this chart is because if we look at the Ichimoku cloud, this is a beautiful setup. This is the setup that I'm currently looking at and going, this is amazing, and I'm going long on this. No matter what Bitcoin does, this is a good setup, and I have to take this no matter what. So with the Ichimoku cloud, sometimes this is a trend following indicator. So it's an indicator that once you get a signal on it, you take the position and you just hold it until it isn't valid anymore. And so right now what we're seeing is we saw this kind of horizontal rectangle of accumulation here where the price is relatively flat inside of this zone. Now subsequently we're starting to see this early trend phase out of this. So what this is telling us is this is potentially going to be a new all-time high sort of a trend here. And the way we know that is because of the Ichimoku cloud setup here. So the Ichimoku cloud is green. We can see that the Tenkan and the Kijun, those two lines right here, they crossed above the cloud right here. And the price came back into it and tested this Kijun level right here, and subsequently rose about 35% after that point already. So the trade has already been profitable if you entered on the Kijun, but in terms of the trend, continuing, we haven't even seen the Tenkan and the Kijun start to curl up, and that's going to be, it's going to take some time since this is on the daily time frame. This is going to be, probably weeks of this going up if it is to actually take this trend and run with it. These trends, this signal takes a long time to develop because you can see the Tenkan and the Kijun crossed several times and it was messy, and the price action was back inside the cloud, then it was above, then it was back inside the cloud, then it was above, but the Tenkan and the Kijun weren't above, and then they finally were above, but the Tenkan didn't cross above the Kijun. It was just at the same exact level for several days, and then subsequently, boom, right here, it finally did cross above that. And then subsequently we had this test here, and now we've came up from there. So these signals on the high time frames take a while to develop, but once they do develop, this is the sort of thing that you start to see. The cloud wasn't fully formed here based on my settings on this exchange, but this is the same exact setup. Tenkan's above the Kijun, price is above both, and we're just trending upwards. So that's kind of what we're seeing now. So if we start to see this, the Tenkan and the Kijun start to curl upwards, that's a good sign that this will continue. And I think this is just going to kind of be a grind upwards, although we may see some sort of a teleportation at some point here where, AAVE's price just ends up going to the moon. Right now we're running into the R1 pivot here, which is at about 55.35. And then the next resistance level on the daily time frame is this 624 level up here at the R2. If we're looking for a shorter term time frame entry, one way that we can look at this is with the 6-hour time frame. So if we look at the 6-hour time frame, one way we can play this is this white candle right here. So this white candle from back here on May 4th is the area where we had a bearish pattern here. And now you can see subsequently we tested this level 4 times before we subsequently broke above it here. Now if we close this in an hour and 3 minutes, this candle above this gray zone, this will be a strong support zone that will look to potentially hold on the first retest. And you can see that the Tenkan and the Kijun are getting ready to cross above the cloud bullishly again here on the 6-hour time frame. So that is once again the same exact signal that we saw on the daily time frame, but now it's on the 6-hour. So that will be good for the bulls for continuation as well. And one way you can play this, one way that I'm playing this rather, is enter on the body of this candle, of the white candle right here, and then targeting that R2 daily level, which is somewhere, it was like 624, something like that, I think. So that's about a 3.5 risk to reward if we go right there. If we are to go down further into the zone, this other pink line is actually back here from a 4-hour zone that I saw right here, this black candle. So that's an even safer entry point because it's far inside of the support zone, and it's confluent with the support zone. So when you see 2 support zones inside of each other, that's usually a pretty good spot, at least on the first test, to look to make an entry. And remember, everything on this channel is for educational purposes only and is not intended as financial advice. So that's what I'm looking for on AAVE and Bitcoin. I hope this was helpful for you. If you like this video, give it a like down below and subscribe for future educational content around cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. And if you haven't already, check out our beginner technical analysis course that we just released on Leutheria.com. We're currently running a 20% off early bird special for people just like you who are supporting Leutheria early on in our life cycle, and we appreciate you. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. And so we're giving you 20% off that beginner technical analysis course that will teach you all the fundamental elements that you need to know to get started generating consistent profit trading cryptocurrencies like AAVE and Bitcoin. And you'll learn things like volume analysis, how to trade trends, the bulls versus the bears, how to read candlesticks, and a ton of other interesting stuff. So check it out. There's a link for that in the description. And until tomorrow, onward and upward.